Welcome back to Her Side of Campus, the show where ideas spark action and voices ignite change. I'm your host, Komal Iqbal, and today we're diving deep into a conversation that just might change the way you see the world. In this episode, we're going to be talking about healthy relationships, red flags, green flags, and how you can recognize them. Just a disclaimer that this episode may cover topics that could be triggering or distressing to some listeners, including but not limited to discussions about mental health, abuse, violence, discrimination, trauma, and other sensitive topics. We encourage you to prioritise your well-being. If at any point you feel uncomfortable, you are welcome to pause the podcast, skip a section, or stop listening entirely. If you feel affected by the topics discussed, please consider reaching out to a trusted family member, friend, professional support service, the University Mental Health and Counselling team, or visit Talking Therapies. Once again, I'm joined by Lindsay and Davina from the Domestic Abuse and Sexual Violence team in Bradford, who bring wealth and experience and compassion to this topic. If you haven't listened to the previous episode, I strongly encourage you to do so. They give a brief introduction about what they do over there, and that episode is more about unnoticed abuse and what you can do to get support when you feel like you don't have any. So thank you again for being here today.
Thank you.
Let's talk about understanding what a healthy relationship actually looks like, red flags and green flags. When you work with young people or community members, how do you help them tell the difference between love and control?
It's a good question, isn't it? And we've got actually our youth ambassadors currently working on a piece that they're going to put out. And it is really looking at those ideas of what would it feel like to be in a healthy relationship. And I think the first word that comes to mind is safety. If I feel safe, I feel secure, I feel heard, I feel able to speak my mind, I feel able to say what I want or what I need from this relationship without being controlling or controlled, then it's nice. It's a good relationship.
And what are some key signs of a healthy relationship? For example, communication, respect, consent, equality. What else?
Yeah. And I think they are really good signs of you're in a good relationship. Communication is always key in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Are you able to communicate? Are you able to communicate your needs?
Yeah.
Are you able to hear what somebody else needs as well in that relationship? I think that is a big, big key. But also respect. What does that look like? Do you value the opinion of the other person? Do you feel valued as well in that relationship? What does that look and feel like? It's not so much what it looks like, because I think we can all make it look good on social media. But actually, what does it feel like for you being in that relationship? I think some of the other things we would talk about are maybe honesty and accountability.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easy to say, oh, do you know what? I've made a mistake there. I'm really sorry. I won't do it again. But then if you do it again and again and again, then you're not being accountable for your actions. You're not really sorry, are you? Or if somebody says, well, I'm sorry, but if you hadn't have done this, then I wouldn't have had to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's horrible.
So not taking responsibility.
Yeah.
So I think some of the signs of a healthy relationship are that you feel you've got trust and support with each other. You feel that you don't have to be accountable all the time for where you are. You can have friends, you can have family,
That trust,
you can have
isn't it?
hobbies. Yeah, and it's lovely and it feels nice. And also, you are supporting your partner's hobbies, time with friends and time with family as well. You're understanding that they are a whole person. They've got other things going on, not just you.
Yeah. I feel like if you doubt your relationship, then there's something going wrong.
Absolutely.
Because your gut instinct is always correct.
Yeah.
Always. So,
And I think when we talk about communication, I think if you were having problems in your relationship, it's always difficult to sit down and have that conversation because, you know, it's not necessarily going to be a pleasant conversation. But the biggest thing I think to take away is that fear. If you're in a healthy relationship, you shouldn't be fearful of the consequences of having that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, if you're worried about, if I say that, will the person do this or this, that could potentially harm you physically or mentally, emotionally, then I think that's a big indicator that actually that's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
I would just also like to add a little bit about the consent within that. Consent does change over time, you know. I think when I was young, consent meant something different to what it means today.
Mm-hmm.
So having a real understanding of that consensual relationship, am I able to just say what I want and what I need and what I don't want?
Mm-hmm.
And can we practice consent together? Can we both say, oh, I'd quite like to try this. Would you? How would that feel for you? And if the other person says, no, I don't want to, then that's it. It doesn't go any further.
Mm-hmm.
But then if the other person might say, I'd quite like to try that. But then when they're trying it, they don't like it.
Yeah.
They still have the freedom to say, no, I don't want to do that. So I think there is something very, very special about being in a relationship that's safe enough that allows us to do those things.
Why do you think so many people struggle to recognise unhealthy patterns?
Well, the problem is, Kamal, they don't ever start off as unhealthy relationships. So when you meet somebody or you enter into a relationship with somebody for the first time, you don't meet a controller. You meet somebody who's lovely, who's charming.
The love bombing.
Yeah, absolutely. They will use all those techniques, such as love bombing. They will completely sweep you off your feet. But it's once they get to know you, that's when they will start to tailor and design their techniques to suit you. So that's how they will find out what is the best way to control you. And that will be different to how you would control me. So each of those techniques will be different. But I think we don't recognise the pattern because we go in with our eyes not fully probably wide open. We've got the rose-tinted spectacles and we think it's going to be wonderful. And it should be. And most of the time it will be. But occasionally it won't be. And it's like you say, that gut instinct when you think, this doesn't feel right. Say it. Speak that straight away.
And what factors do you think play into people having healthy relationships? Why don't we have more of them?
I think we don't have more of them because it's not trending, is it? So what's out there, what's in the public eye, what's on social media, what's on TV, what's in song lyrics, it tends to make us lean towards this idea that love might be painful, love might be vengeful, which is awful, really.
Yeah. Or
So-
some of those romance books.
Yeah, and hideously so, you know, that actually there's got to be some sort of pain involved. And we don't talk about it enough. So again, we talk a lot about what is a red flag. We all know what a red flag is.
Yeah.
We don't talk about what a green flag is.
That's what we need
So
to talk
I
more
really
about.
want to talk about that. We really want to focus on what would it feel like to be in a good relationship.
So what do you think some of the red flags are that people should look out for in a relationship?
We've mentioned a few, haven't we? So we're talking maybe about this controlling relationship, being monitored perhaps all the time, you know, and I know that's a thing now with young people. You've got each other's passwords for your phones, you're tracking each other on social media. And actually, you know, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're both in agreement to.
Yeah.
But what's the motivation behind that? Why are you doing that? Why do you feel like you need to track each other all the time? So I think some of those red flags are about that, monitoring, gaslighting, as we've already talked about. If you say, I don't like that or I don't want to do that, then you're made to feel small, you're made to feel stupid,
Yeah.
you're made to feel you're imagining it, that there's something wrong with you for wanting something different. Again, I think just that whole idea of sexual control, which we don't talk enough about. You know, for two people to have a healthy sexual relationship, they've both got to want it.
Yeah.
They've both got to want it at the same time. They've both got to want to do the same things. And we need to have much more of a healthy, open relationship about that.
I think I've met too many walking red flags that other people don't really know. Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, I definitely agree that those are really big red flags. And
Not
if you
just
see
guys,
that
yeah.
somebody is quite literally a walking red flag, just walk away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just walk away. It's okay to not talk to them anymore. You'll find somebody better. And I would also say, like, don't set yourself for one person.
Yeah.
Just because you get on well with somebody and you like them, it doesn't mean that they're going to be your partner forever. Like, you can have, there's 8 billion people in the world. You can have anybody, and you are good enough to have anybody that you want. So don't settle for less, guys.
Absolutely.
What are some of the green flags?
Well, again, we've touched on some of them, but I think being and feeling respected, having good communication within your relationship, that trust and honesty and support is really, really important, that somebody's supporting you. You know, if you want to go on and do more at university, you want to go on and do a really, really interesting job, then somebody is supporting you in that. They've got your back. They're a real friend.
Yeah.
You know, they're saying, yeah, I'm in your corner. I want to support you. I want to help you. And that you would share responsibility. So if you are in a partnership, then you're sharing. It's not one person's doing all this, all the work, and the other person's just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
That there's definitely a shared feeling of, I don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, especially in this day and age. You know, we're no longer living in the 1950s.
Yeah.
So think about what you're sharing and play to each other's strengths. Yeah. It might be that one person's really good with money.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Then I will let you take over the money because I'm rubbish with money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but know that I am really good at something else.
Yeah.
Therefore, I will do that. So that kind of sharing the responsibility, I think, is a really lovely green flag as well.
Yeah.
But most of all, you feel nice in this relationship.
Yeah.
So imagine that thought at the end of the day, you want to go home.
Yeah.
Because it's lovely going home.
That's it.
That's the biggest green
It's that
flag of all
gut
time.
feeling, isn't it? Again, just that you want to go home to that person and you want to see that person every day.
Yeah.
I think as well, where someone gives you the space to be your authentic self.
Yeah.
You're able to make wrong choices, wrong decisions, but you still feel safe enough to be able to go back to that person and say, look, I've messed up. And you have that autonomy to be truly 100% yourself.
I'm just trying to think of any other green flags, because I think it's important to mention, like, just how many green flags that you can look out for.
Yeah.
There's just so many, isn't there? Like, just even the way they look at you can tell you so much about the person. The way they communicate with you on a regular basis. Does it feel like you're taking out too much time in the day for them, or vice versa? Does it feel like they are trying to imply that you take too much of their time? Because I don't think that if you take up most of their time, it's not really a good thing. But also, if they then feel the need to bring you up about that, I think that's then where it goes a bit sideways.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're here trying to raise the awareness, because we are so quick at able to identify red flags, but when we do say what are the green flags, everybody struggles.
Yeah, it's difficult to identify.
And we said, it's very subjective, because what might work for me in my relationship is different to what might work for you.
Yeah.
But there is them basics that we've already spoke about that should be a standard. So we're just here to raise that awareness so that it is quicker to be able to find green flags, so that people can recognise what constitutes a healthy relationship.
Yeah. We've I've got one down here as well that talks about negotiation and fairness. So it might not be that you're going to agree all the time. Believe me, you're not. I've just been married 25 years last week, so I know that the key to that is not always agreeing. But it means that we can negotiate, and it means that if I want to do something that my partner doesn't want to do, that's okay.
Compromise.
Yeah. And it's about me saying, actually, I don't want to do that, and I get that you do, but you go and do that, and you go and do that with a friend or whatever. I'm not going to stop you from doing that because I don't want to do it, because, again, I understand that we're individual people. So I think having that negotiation is really healthy as well in a relationship, and really lovely to be able to see. And fairness, actually being fair. How would the golden rule? Treat somebody how you would like to be treated as well. Just be fair with that person.
You're both also leading training with the domestic abuse and sexual violence team, which you mentioned before as well. How does this work address these issues, and what are you hoping to change through it?
Yeah, well, for some time we've had a course, which our foundation course, which is domestic abuse and coercive control, how to recognise and respond to that. We also have courses looking at sexual violence and abuse, forced marriage and honour-based abuse that we talked about before. Our newest course is recognising and responding healthy relationships. You know, that idea that we're going to focus on the green flag side of things. And I think through it, we want to try and put a positive view across that relationships can be nice and can be good, and not make the assumption either that all of our professionals know and understand what a healthy relationship is. Most of us, interestingly, come into this job because we've had some experience ourselves of not being in a great place.
Yeah.
And so we want to make it better for somebody else. But in order to make that better for somebody else, we need to have a really good understanding of what that is, what that healthy relationship is. So we want to spend some time on that and actually getting people to redress the balance, really, of the let's look at the green flags.
Yeah. If somebody listening is worried about a friend or a classmate or even a family member being forced into marriage, what should they do, and who could they contact for some support?
So there's some amazing services across the Bradford district, and some of these can be found on www.bradford-dasv.co.uk, which is a website that has lots of different services in Bradford on there. You could contact the commission service, which is called Staying Put, and they're on 0808 2800 999. Or nationally, you can ring the National Domestic Abuse Helpline, which is available 24/7 on 0808 2000 24/7.
Yeah, and I think, as I mentioned before, staff on campus, you know, you've got some lovely support services here. So please, you know, talk to your staff that are here on campus as well, your safeguarding leads.
Yeah, as students, we have our personal academic tutors, and they are there to support you. So use those services. We have the counselling and mental health team. Even they would be happy to support you. We have student services. My Bradford, for example. Again, the staff that are on campus are there to support you in the best way possible. And so I would suggest just go for it and see what happens. Even if it doesn't help, you know for next time what to do. And then you know that you need to contact somebody else, or that there's something else that you can do about that. But I can guarantee that a lot of our staff members are more than happy to help you on anything. Before we wrap up, what final message would you both like to leave for listeners, especially young women and girls who might be unsure about what love and respect should really look like in a relationship?
I think for me, start to think about what you want your relationship to feel like, not just what it looks like on social media. And who is there in your life that has been a good influence? Who is that real influencer around the good relationships? And what is it that they've got that appeals to you? Talk to them about it. Talk to them about what it feels like to have a good marriage, and see whether you can imitate that. Respect and love are very subjective. So what's right for one person might not be right for you. Please don't follow the crowd. We really don't want you to do that. The relationships that you have will be the most important things in your life. So take some time to think about what you'd really like it to look and feel like.
I think for me, the biggest advice I'd have would don't rush. Take your time.
Yeah.
But most importantly, start by loving yourself first.
Yes, 100%.
Love yourself first. Have them boundaries. Know what your boundaries are. Be clear about them boundaries. And I think with that, once you love yourself and you know what you're, like Lindsay said, love is very subjective. It can look different to all of us. But I think once you really love yourself, I think then you will have real clear boundaries about what is respectful and what is not.
Yeah, you kind of had that understanding of what it is that you want and your standards, and that's the most important thing, is understanding yourself, because like you said before, not a lot of young people do understand themselves, and it's really hard to get to that point. I even know, like from my own experience, it took a long time for me to feel like I am who I am and I'm okay with that, which is why I'm here today.
And I
Otherwise I wouldn't be.
And I think that pressure, you know, sometimes you can look around you, your peers, everybody seems to have a boyfriend, or they're getting married, or a girlfriend, or they're in relationships, and you can feel that pressure that, oh, why not me?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can rush into things, like I said, just because you feel like you're getting left behind.
That's it. You feel like you're being left out.
Yeah. So I just think, put the brakes on.
Yeah. And it's okay
There's
if you're
no
not
rush.
married at
No.
25 years old. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not the end of the world, you know. You'll find
And
somebody.
equally, if you do find somebody at
Yeah.
25 and you're happy and they're respectful and they're doing all them things that we've already spoken about that are green flags, and
Yes.
that's fantastic too.
That's it.
Yeah.
And lastly, what is one piece of advice that you would give to the audience listening? That could be for the women or the men out there, or...
Yeah. I'd like to do an analogy really, but first of all, I'd like to say find your friend, find the person who you feel comfortable with. But I have this analogy, and it's about a new pair of shoes. So imagine that you've got a new pair of shoes and you've looked at them and you've been after them for ages and you've seen them in your shop window and they're just amazing. And eventually you buy that pair of shoes and you put them on for your first day out in them, and they are beautiful. Oh, super beautiful, but they are so uncomfortable. Oh my word, they're killing your feet by the end of the day. But you persevere and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going until they make your feet bleed, and then you've got sores and they never go away. And that is sometimes what it feels like when you find that first flush of love where everything looks amazing, but actually it feels rubbish.
Yeah.
So what I am suggesting is that you find somebody who's like putting on a really nice comfy pair of slippers, because that is what you're going to want to come home to. You're never going to want to come home to them tight-fitting shoes.
That is a really good analogy. I love that.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can beat that one. I would just say that love does, you know, it's supposed to be fun, exciting, you're getting to know each other. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that people should embrace that and enjoy that. And that's what love is, you know, exciting,
Yeah.
butterflies, all that kind of stuff.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today for 2 very powerful episodes, and for all the work that you're doing to support survivors and promote healthy, respectful relationships. I'm very glad that we have services and people like you guys to help young people to go through these situations. If you or somebody you know might be in an unhealthy relationship, please reach out to trusted services, and please note that support is available and that you are never alone. Remember, everybody has a role to play in shaping our society, and the journey does not stop here. Keep questioning, keep learning, and keep on making a difference. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Her Side of Campus.